Right.
So they got this new thing out that people sell them all the time. They got this stuff they get blood from somebody with AIDS,
Yeah.
and then they shoot you with it.
If Eazy would have known he got poked, he would have said something. If he didn't know he got poked, then the conspiracy lives on.
He said, this guy's going to be a problem, and I think I should kill him.
To my fans, I would like to say to my fans, thanks for your support, and stay true to the game. And don't ever believe people who tell lies.
Word on the street is that Ice Cube has allegedly confirmed that Dr. Dre and Shoog Knight were allegedly involved in poking Eazy E with a needle filled with the HIV virus. So, what exactly did he say? Ice Cube joined the Impulsive podcast to discuss a variety of topics, one of the most intriguing being the conspiracy theories surrounding the death of his N.W.A. bandmate, Eazy E. The hosts brought up the controversial idea that Suge Knight might have been involved in Eazy E's death. The conversation quickly turned to an infamous interview with Suge Knight, where he mentioned getting creative in eliminating people without using guns. This led to speculation that Suge Knight might have used an intravenous needle to inject Eazy E with the AIDS virus.
His preferred method of taking care of somebody was airily reminiscent or like similar to like how Eazy passed.
Ice Cube acknowledged the theory but expressed doubt. He pointed out that if Eazy E had known he was attacked in such a manner, he would have likely told someone. Ice Cube emphasized that while it's possible to get poked without realizing it, especially in a club setting, it still seems far-fetched in this context.
By the way, keep in mind, this is not my conspiracy, bro. Like, this is an online conspiracy that I've just read about. And I wanted to ask you about your thoughts on that.
The hosts pressed further, asking if Suge Knight could be unhinged enough to do something so extreme. Ice Cube admitted that Suge has done some wild things in the past, but remained skeptical about this particular theory. He shared a light-hearted story about Suge gathering a group of producers and threatening them to start producing hits, or he would take matters into his own hands.
Had an apartment full of producers, and I guess they wasn't coming up with the right songs. Yeah. And he gathered them all up and said, look, either y'all start producing some hits or I'm gonna start producing some hits.
When asked if he would ever talk to Suge directly about these allegations, Ice Cube suggested that getting an interview with Suge would be the best way to hear the truth. He mentioned that Suge is pretty open about his past and would likely share his side of the story if given the chance.
Is there a chance we can get him on the podcast?
I mean, he's locked up, right?
For running people over.
Well, for a number of things. He's still in prison, right?
Yeah, he's still in.
I wouldn't have asked that question if he was out of prison. Damn.
But Ice Cube is not the only one who has spoken on Eazy E's tragic demise. Dre Down recently gave an interview where he discussed his experiences on tour with Eazy E and Bone Thugs-n-Harmony. He shared a chilling story about an incident during a concert in Las Vegas.
Speaking of Eazy E and Bone Thugs, I heard a story about you being on tour with them in Las Vegas. And some Bloods, they shut up the concert. Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, that was like the last show of our tour.
According to Dre Down, during the last show of their tour, a fight broke out and shots were fired. Dre Down mentions Eazy E complaining about chest pain during the tour, which they initially thought was due to heavy smoking.
And Eazy said his chest hurt. You feel me? Because at that time, we smoking half a pound or a pound in 2 days.
However, Dre Down then shares a shocking theory about Eazy E's sudden death from AIDS. He finds it hard to believe that Eazy E could develop full-blown AIDS so quickly.
Her face is looking at mine, I'm looking at the bitch like, I told you, bitch. I told you, bitch, right? And the bitch looking, right? Next thing you know, nigga, a bullet hit the ground and hit that bitch again. It says, and hit that bitch again. I jumped up. I just broke. Eazy E's wife, nigga, that bitch was faster than mother. She was right there with me. And I know I got dumbass wheels, so I'm like this, you feel me? And she hit the fence, and I see her, you know, she had hella ass too, but I grabbed her by her ass and just pushed her over the fence. I jump over the fence. Next thing you know, our van coming like this, get in, get in. When we jump in, we pass the parking lot and we see cars just with bullet holes and bodies in the motherfuckers. The motherfuckers was out of there. That shit was crazy to the mother. Then after that, we go back to LA. 2 days later, Eazy E got full-blown AIDS. Now, you gotta think, Eazy E was funking at this time with Dr. Dre and, you feel me, Jerry Heller. You know what I'm talking about? They was really funking. And the hospital he went to was, from my recollection, from what I was hearing, that the doctor was fucking with Dre and Jerry Heller. That was their doctor. You know what I'm talking about? So when he went to the hospital, all of a sudden he got full-blown AIDS. That's not possible. You feel me? This man is breathing, doing his thing. All of the chest was hurting. Nigga, we was smoking pounds. So we all was but he was just ready to cut and go home. When he did, he ended up going to the hospital and something happened in the hospital.
Once again, to go back to the full-blown AIDS, and you say you've seen people like that, you'll see that in their appearance, right? But with Eazy E, he looked healthy and everything, right?
No, he was straight. He was straight, you feel me? I mean, you know, when you say full-blown, that shit happens over years. You get HIV, then you get AIDS, and then shit progress if you ain't taking care of your shit. You know what I'm talking about, like you're supposed to. Then that's how motherfuckers fall off the earth. But this nigga got full-blown AIDS in 2 days? Impossible, my nigga. Only thing you can think about.
Drew Down's theory, though controversial, adds another layer of mystery to the already tragic story of Eazy E's untimely death. But it also taps into a broader and more sinister narrative, the dark side of the music industry. Many believe that the music industry is rife with conspiracies and power struggles, where artists can become pawns in a much larger game. The idea that Eazy E could have been injected with AIDS is not new. Some fans and conspiracy theorists have long suspected foul play, pointing to the rapid progression of his illness as highly unusual. Normally, the progression from HIV to full-blown AIDS takes years, not days. This has led to speculation that Eazy E might have been deliberately infected as part of a larger plot. The music industry has a history of controversial deaths and suspicious circumstances, from Tupac Shakur and the Notorious Big to more recent tragedies like Juice WRLD and Pop Smoke. Questions about the true nature of these events often arise. Power, money, and control are key themes, with some believing that when an artist becomes too influential or rebellious, they are silenced. Eazy E was not just a rapper, he was a mogul with significant influence in the industry. His death came at a time of intense rivalry and legal battles, especially with his former N.W.A. group member Dr. Dre and their manager Jerry Heller. Drew Down's comments about the Doctor allegedly being connected to Dre and Heller add another layer to this theory, suggesting that Eazy E might have been caught in a dangerous power struggle. What's more, some fans have been connecting the dots for decades now and are claiming that Suge Knight was also in on it. One particular fan wrote on X, Eazy E was definitely taken out, but what makes this so suspicious is that Suge Knight and Jerry Heller at the time shared the same doctor that treated Eazy E when Eazy contracted AIDS all of a sudden. A second fan added, that N injected Eazy E with effing AIDS and purposefully ran over a ninja with a pickup truck. Now you might be wondering how Suge Knight was involved in Eazy E's demise, right? Well, let me break it down for you. Years ago, there was a huge clash in the West Coast rap scene. On one side, you had Ruthless Records, once home to N.W.A. On the other, there was Death Row Records, started by the notorious Suge Knight, who had big plans for Dr. Dre. Another key figure was Jerry Heller, N.W.A.'s former manager and co-founder of Ruthless Records. Jerry wasn't too pleased with how Suge Knight was operating. Suge wanted Dre to leave Ruthless and join him, and he wasn't subtle about it. How did he show it? Well, let's just say he used some very intimidating methods like baseball bats and lead pipes. Definitely not the usual way to negotiate a contract. Recently, Jerry Heller spilled the beans in an interview with the Murder Master music show, and this is where things get wild. According to Jerry, the late and great Eazy E once approached him with a bone-chilling proposition.
What's going on here? And Eazy said, you know this guy Suge Knight? I said, yeah. He says, well, I'm going to kill him.
Eazy was ready to settle the score, thinking Suge was up to no good.
He said, this guy's going to be a problem, and I think I should kill him.
Now, Jerry obviously had a tough decision to make. He mulled it over and thought, hold up, we're making mad bank here with those records. We're breaking records left and right. We're just a small team. Do we really want to resort to murder? It didn't quite add up in his mind. Jerry tried to talk some sense into Eazy, saying, hey buddy, killing this guy might not be the best move for us. We're already killing it in the music biz without actually killing anyone. But looking back, Jerry has some regrets. He thinks maybe he should have let Eazy E follow through on his plan. He believes it could have changed the game, keeping Ruthless Records on top. Dr. Dre and Ice Cube also might have stuck around, and they would have built an empire together, but that is where the bittersweet end to Eazy E's story comes in. On that fateful day of March 26, 1995, just a month after receiving his diagnosis, Eazy E tragically passed away. The clock ticked away, and at approximately 6:35 p.m. PST, the world lost a legend. It was a somber moment as the music community mourned the loss of a true icon.
Rap singer Eazy E has lost his battle with AIDS just 10 days after revealing that he had the disease.
When the news of Eazy E's death broke, fans were shocked and puzzled by how quickly his health had declined. Those close to him during his final months didn't witness any drastic changes in his appearance or behavior. Members of Bone Thugs-n-Harmony, who had just signed with Ruthless Records around the time of Eazy E's diagnosis, shared their perspective in an interview with Angel Yee.
Man, everything happened so fast. It was like, bam, bam. We met him, we got discovered, we own, bam. We got a hit single out, bam, Eazy died. It was like, man, like, as quick as it started, it was over. That's what we thought. You know what I'm saying? We was like, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, I know that had to be tough, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but, you know, little did we know, the label had no intentions on getting rid of us. You know what I'm saying? So we had to do what we had to do.
Did y'all see Eazy when he was in the hospital?
I didn't get a chance to visit. I was actually in Cleveland when the news broke. Cause wasn't nobody telling us nothing. Like, we couldn't get no information. I didn't even know. I found out Eazy was in the hospital from my wife at the time, my ex-wife. Her friend, you know, told her, she was like, ask Craig if you know anything about Eazy being in the hospital. And I'm like, no, I ain't heard nothing about Eazy being in the hospital. And then I'm sitting there watching MTV News, and the MTV News flash come on and say that Eazy E is in the hospital with full-blown AIDS. And I'm like, so this is how I found out. You know what I'm saying? And you know, once that break, you're not about to get no information. I think Lazy and Wish was out here, and they got a chance to, I don't know if they got a chance to go see him, or if they did or not, I don't know. But yeah, they were out here. But yeah, everything just happened so fast, man. I was like, wow, it was crazy.
Yeah, man, I mean, that just don't make sense to me. Because you saying that the last time you seen Eazy, everything was good with him, and just out of nowhere, he passes away, you know, because of full-blown AIDS. I don't know, it just don't add up to me, man. Because I know people, you know, that passed away from full-blown AIDS. And, you know, they look like they got full-blown AIDS. Like they, you know, you can see the transition in their body, yo. Like how they skinny. I think I even came across a video online some weeks ago of, you know, a female that had full-blown AIDS. And I mean, she couldn't even stand up. Like her body was so weak, like she couldn't even hold her own weight.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody with full-blown AIDS, you know, look like Eazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never seen nobody like that. When you're about to die of cancer or any terminal sickness you got, you look like you're about to pass away from it, period. So, you know, I mean, who knows, man, who knows?
But then many pointed at Shoog's involvement, and what made all of this even worse was that they had even talked about hurting each other. Now, again, according to Jerry Heller, the co-founder of Ruthless Records, Eazy E held a strong animosity towards Shoog Knight and had expressed that desire to kill him. In a recent interview on UGS Radio's The Murder Master Music Show, Heller talked about Eazy's vendetta against Shoog, specifically regarding Dr. Dre.
And I always blame, you know, him leaving, to me, not being really aware enough to think that a guy like Suge Knight who was a $70 a day bodyguard at Ruthless, could come between Eazy and Dre. You know, I never thought that could happen, and I blame myself for that.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the two big mistakes I made at the company. The other was, and I got to tell you, over 8 years, you know, with the kind of success that we had, that to have two mistakes, of course, but they were big mistakes, Dre leaving, and one day I came in the office, and my client, who was the Mossad guy, whose daughter's wedding I'm going to tomorrow night, but I came in the office, and he and Eazy were talking, and I said, what's going on here? And Eazy said, you know this guy Suge Knight? I said, yeah. He says, well, I'm going to kill him. He said, this guy's going to be a problem, and I think I should kill him. And I said, let me think this. I said, let me think this thing through. I said, first of all, we're doing $10 million a month with 6 employees. We don't even have a typewriter in the office. I said, we're the most successful startup record company in the history of the music business. And you want to kill this guy? I said, that just doesn't make any sense to me. And you know something? I should have let him kill him.
Yeah.
You know, I would have done the world a favor. He would have done it for sure, by himself. You know, he always rolled by himself, and he was fearless. That's
Eazy
why
always packed heat too, right?
Always.
Do you think he would have killed Suge Knight?
I think so. I think that he was going to go do it.
Additionally, Eazy and Dr. Dre had a long-standing feud that persisted until Eazy's untimely death at the age of 31. And now even Ice Cube is emphasizing that Suge had a major role to play in his death. There was an episode of the podcast Impulsive where conspiracy theories were discussed. During the conversation, they talked about the idea of getting creative when it comes to killing someone rather than simply shooting them. The way they described their preferred method of taking care of someone was eerily reminiscent of how Eazy E passed away. This led to the conspiracy theories suggesting that Shoog Knight could have potentially been the person who intentionally infected Eazy E with AIDS. Ice Cube was asked about this theory, and he responded by saying, "No, I think it's somebody poke you with one of them goddamn needles, you know." Ice Cube dismissed the concept as crazy.
I mean, it just sounds like it. If Eazy would have known he got poked, he would have said something. If he didn't know he got poked, then the conspiracy lives on.
Tragically, on March 26, 1995, Eazy E succumbed to AIDS-induced pneumonia just 1 month after his diagnosis. He was 30 years old, although many reports at the time incorrectly stated he was 31 due to a falsified birth date. Eazy E's funeral on April 7, 1995, at Rose Hills Memorial Park in Whittier, California, was attended by over 3,000 people, including notable figures such as Ice Cube and DJ Yella. Wright was buried in a gold casket, dressed in a flannel shirt, jeans, and his signature Compton hat, a fitting tribute to his indelible impact on the culture of his hometown and the music industry at large. Eazy E's final album, Star 8 Off the Streets of Motherfucking Compton, was released posthumously on January 30th, 1996, to resonate even after his death. His legacy, marked by groundbreaking music, a relentless spirit, and a life lived on his own terms, remains a powerful and enduring chapter in the history of hip-hop. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.